At the end of the Direct last week, Nintendo showed off one more game. A Mario Brothers game. A new one, in fact. Not to be confused with the new Super Mario Brothers series, because I think Super Mario Brothers Wonder is actually something different altogether. And today I want to explore exactly what makes this so much more different and special compared to the other games in the franchise. Because I think this is a new, interesting route that Nintendo's taking to make their 2D platformers fresh and interesting. You obviously have Mario and Luigi, and you also have the return of Yellow Toad, which makes me wonder if the Blue Toad's coming back or not. I don't think they showed him at all in any of the trailer, but you know, if they do have him playable, that's cool. But it was interesting that you could also play as Peach, which means she's not the damsel in distress this time. What I think is the biggest deal is that Daisy is in a mainline game for the first time since Super Mario Land, which was released in 1989, I believe. That seems minor because she's in so many party games, but I personally think that's a big deal. Like, I think that's a really big deal. You also get to see Yoshi as a playable character and also as a rideable character, which makes me also suspect there's going to be some team-up combination type of thing you can do. Again, really cool, really look forward to it. Obviously, the big wow factor that everyone was paying attention to was those Wonder Flowers. The Wonder Flowers takes you into this trippy, wild dream state world, which I assume is going to be called the Wonder World. However, it definitely seems like this is the way you're supposed to collect some important items, like the Wonders. Unlike the new Super Mario Bros. Series, which is just Bowser kidnapping Peach, that's all there is to it, this one looks like it's trying to be a little more in-depth by giving Bowser the ability to steal magic, I assume the wonder magic of this flowery kingdom, and using it to power up his minions as well as himself. We even see a hint of this at the point where we see Bowser Jr. getting powered up, or something that looks like Bowser Jr. It could just be a monstrous Koopa, but my headcanon is that he's Wonder Bowser Jr. I also think it's safe to assume that any point we see the cloudy bubbles going around the screen, that's a point which Mario has actually touched a Wonder Flower and is seeking out the Wonder Seed in another area, one of the presumable collectibles you see in the game, along with these weird purple triangle chip things. Of course, what's a Mario game without power-ups? And we are seeing a return of the Fire Flower, which I think was kind of a given anyways. It's in almost every game to begin with. But we also see this new Super Cap that lets you float through the air, kind of like Peach, only it gives you a little more descent as you're floating. And obviously, addressing the elephant in the room, we see this new apple that turns Mario into a big elephant. And it's also what made the internet lose their mind. I personally want to know what Peach Elephant looks like. However, the new power-ups and the new collectibles and everything about this game so far really does feel like it could be just something straight out of the new Super Mario Bros. Series. It would just be a little different or a little more unique to the other games. So is this really just another new Super Mario Bros. Game? Short answer is I don't think so. Long answer is let's look at these in a little more detail. Super Mario Wonder, which is what I'm going to call it from now on because Super Mario Bros. Wonder sounds really wordy and I think it sounds better with just Wonder, is the next step in what I think is going to be the 2D experience for Mario games. Maybe we'll see more like it, maybe we won't. However, it comes with the core gameplay of good platforming physics, as well as having a nice, cool gimmick with the Wonder Seed and Wonder Flowers. I'm sure there's more to it, there's other gimmicks maybe included as well, but at the very least, I think that's what is trying to be what separates it. But I don't think that's what truly separates it. Super Mario Wonder offers something that New Super Mario Bros. Wishes it had. Style. Because honestly, I think the new Super Mario Bros. Series from the very beginning had everything except for style. The good core platformer, but it's kinda to look at. I believe Super Mario Wonder actually took a page out of Donkey Kong Country. What I mean is that Donkey Kong Country was a legendary game with great platforming and great level design. However, part of what made it so iconic and legendary to this day is the fact that we're looking at a game that took 3D models and then just turned them into 2D sprites. And I think that's actually what we're doing here once again. If you look close enough at Mario and his different actions and movements and whatnot, you can clearly tell he's actually flattened out to the screen. And I think that's a good thing. I think it looks amazing, in fact. I think this is the best Mario's ever looked in 2D. Even if you look at the older titles that people have a lot of nostalgia for. This excites me because it means that we can see some cool animation techniques put into use here. For example, when Mario actually hits top speed, he gets a cool blur effect. However, they don't just draw it around him or make a wind effect, they draw it into his actual model itself, which is excellent. It makes a much more strong, a much more impressionable sign that he's actually speeding up. In addition, when he's running at full speed, you can also see underneath him his legs actually have smear lines. Smear just means that you're going to be partially drawing in different aspects. For example, Mario's leg. You see part of his leg instead of the entire leg. This is used to help transition between two different frames in order to give an illusion of more speed going on. This is really common in cartoons and in anime, as well as sometimes other video games. It's a great little piece of detail that makes the game look more stylish. But it really doesn't even stop there. Mario and company are animated a lot more as a whole as well. Whenever Mario hits the height of his jump, he's far more expressive. When he bumps into an enemy, he actually reacts to it. When Mario's running all those guys, he's leaning into it. Mario has character to everything he does, and I love it. And it's not just Mario, it's the whole world having more style. When Mario runs by some of the closer background pieces, he's casting a shadow over it, something you wouldn't have seen in older games. Or for example, you'll see him moving around and affecting the background and the enemies at the same time with some of his abilities. Again, this is more style and something truly unique to make it feel separate from the other games. There's even a point where you can see the whole crew traveling from one section of the overworld to another via some flower. And since we're talking about the overworld anyways, can we just also address the fact that it looks like it has an overhaul as well? And I'm not just talking on a visual front, because I think it's really cool to see these rocky warp pipe bridges. It's a nice detail, a nice set piece, if you will. But it's also the fact that we're seeing information given to us before we enter the level. We can see a star telling us the difficulty. And if they're telling us the difficulty of level before we enter it, that also tells me that chances are there's going to be some branching routes, giving this world a little more depth and a way to explore it somewhere. All these little details create something big. By having more style, you create a better sense of immersion or just a better experience overall. Often people will say style over substance, or the other way around, is something that will be factored into a lot of gameplay design. However, sometimes style is the substance. Sometimes with more style, you just feel more engaged. When you feel more engaged, you can have more fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what Super Mario World is able to give us based on this new style.